Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back for another retro RPG, and at the end of another poll. Well, it was a very close one this week. All week, right up until last night, it was a three-way tie between Unknown Armies, Slaying the Role-Playing Game, and the eventual winner, Drow of the Underdark, which didn't actually pull ahead until this morning. So last night, when I was going to prepare for this video, there wasn't a clear winner. Even the two losing books, The Heir to the Empire and the Psionics Handbook, were very close behind. So it's really sad that the Psionics Handbook, at 17% of the vote, still a good percentage, has to be dropped out this week. Anyway, so we're dropping Drow of the Underdark, because we're just about to do the video on that. We're dropping the Psionics Handbook, so both Dungeons & Dragons selections are dropping from the list this week. And we are putting in Dark Heresy by Black Library, which is a Warhammer 40k role-playing game. And we're also adding Rifts Rulebook 5 Triax and the NGR, because I know a lot of people like the Rifts books. So I'm going to cover that, even if I am critical of Rifts, because I'd like to make it clear, while I love every role-playing game I cover, I do have criticisms of some. And I have to comment that I just spent this morning deleting a whole bunch of comments on videos which were very negative, very insulting towards me and the way I do my videos. And I'm afraid I just don't have time for that in my life. I don't have time for negativity. I'm doing this channel because I enjoy it. I like talking about role-playing games, and that's what I want to do. If you're just going to go on and sit all night and put comment after comment after comment, because it was the same person who put dozens of comments on different videos, then I'm just going to block you from the channel. And the way YouTube blocks it, you'll not be able to see unless you go into private browsing mode and go to my videos. Whether you've been hidden. It looks like your messages are there, your comments are still available, but they're hidden from everybody else. So, if you're spending your evenings writing bad messages, nobody's going to see them. You're just shouting into the void. Anyway, let's go over to the desktop and have a look at Drow of the Underdark. So, this is the Drow of the Underdark for Forgotten Realms setting and the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition rules. Now, it's by Ed Greenwood and released through TSR, and details the Drow species in the Forgotten Realms setting, because when this came out in 1991, the books by R.A. Salvatore detailing the life of the Drow Ranger Dris de Urden, if I've pronounced that right. If I haven't, my excuse is it's an elven name and my mere human tongue cannot pronounce it properly. But anyway, the novels detail his life and adventures and were very popular. So there was a lot of call by people to play Drow, including me, because I ended up playing a Drow Ranger. Yes, I wasn't very imaginative and I wasn't very creative at all. I was just copying some books that I liked. But shall I just call it inspiration? Yes, I think I will. But this book came out, but it kind of superpowers Drow through one major thing, which we'll detail as we go through it. But it is a lovely book. It details a lot of the early Underdark stuff. I believe I've covered the Menza Branson box set before, and there were various other Underdark books. But this was the first one which started to flesh out. So this kind of includes lots more than just the Drow. It includes a bunch of stuff about the Underdark and the cities of the Drow, which were later fleshed out in their own source books, because the Underdark became massively popular. It's amazing what some really good books can do. Let's have a look at the back cover. So, the Drow of the Underdark. These are the favourite foes of many a party of adventurers. In these pages, the Drow come to life, their culture and powers detailed fully for the first time. This guide presents new rules galore, new spells, new magical items, insight into the mysteries of Lolth, monstrous compendium entries for the related monsters of the Underdark, and much, much more. Learn all about the Drow herein, from the words of the ancient elven sage Earthleth and Greycloak: proud, graceful evil, cruelty personified, talent wasted, beauty lost in darkness. To the lore of the great sage Elminster. Did I ever tell thee how close I came to having a Drow wife? No? Well then. A nice couple of fake quotes there, but it kind of details what it's going to be about. So, first of all, absolutely love the cover. It's kind of matte with the spider web, if I can get it to reflect correctly by the window light. You can see there's a black spider web in glossy on the matte background of the book. And then we've got all this gold as well. Very nice presentation. We go inside, and there's lots of gold inside as well. It really is a lovely presented book. So, dedications, which include to Bob Salvatore for bringing the Drow to life in the realms. And spinning tales of the realms to warm many a fireside down the passing years. Got Gary Gygax, Roger Moore, all credited for their parts in creating Dungeons & Dragons and the Drow. So we've got an introduction to the Drow, the Dark Elves, those who have turned to evil. You go through some background information, a picture of Elminster and his potential Drow wife, who, as many Drow females are, appears to be almost naked. That's an ongoing joke, I think, amongst most players of D&D, the Drow bikini. And the nature of Dark Elves, their build, their intelligence, their Drow senses, their personal magic, innate abilities. And this is the big one here. We're on page 8, and we drop the big problem. Drow also possess an incredibly high natural magic resistance. Newborn babies have weak, fluctuating magic resistances, 2 to 40%. Roll 2d20 to determine the resistance. To protect endangered young Drow alchemists revised a potion of magic resistance. Blah blah blah. A Drow youth has 40%, and by adolescence it has reached a stable 50%. Magic resistance increases from this 50% by a base 2% for every level of advancement, gained by a Drow individual above first. Multi-class Drow gain this bonus only from the class in which they have the highest level, not from both classes. All Drow receive a +2 bonus to all magic attack saving throws, that is, both against spells that overcome their natural resistance and against effects of magical items wielded against them. Now this is incredibly powerful. When I was playing my Drow character, we went up against a very magically powerful ancient creature, which dropped a spell which basically killed the entire party, which it needed to for story reasons. The Dungeon Master had planned us to die and be brought back as intelligent zombies, and we would have to solve that situation. But the spell failed on me. My magic resistance worked. And that only got worse, as our campaign carried right up to level 30. So by that point, I had 99% magical resistance. I think me and the Games Master decided that that could be about the highest it would go to. That I wouldn't get a natural 100%. Or perhaps it was only 90. I don't remember the exact figure. But basically it maxed out. But still at a very, very high level. Now, me and the Games Master discussed whether the magic resistance would work so I wouldn't be able to accept healing spells. You know, it would count as a disadvantage or an advantage. But he was very kind to me. He said, it's a willed thing, so when you are not willing the protection, you can lower it against healing spells, and if you're unconscious, then it automatically drops. So, that was something. But it made it still incredibly powerful. Healing spells still worked on me. I ended up with a sword with a healing spell embedded in it, and we had healing potions and everything, of course. But the magic resistance just makes them too powerful. Now, this is balanced in the complete Book of Elves, where that is dropped away to an advantage on saving throws, I think, and they get other abilities. But the Drow, with their magic here and the magic resistance, they're just super beings. They're incredibly powerful. Oh, carrying on, level advancement exceptional Drow, Driders, the test that Drow wizards have to go through, transformation into Driders. What else we got? Dark Elven Society, so going through station and rank. Spiders and the Drow, because Drow mainly worship Lolth, the Spider Queen. So spiders have a natural part in their society. Social organization, Dark Elven dealings, their customs, the way they treat slaves, marriage and family life. Detailing how, because the Drow goddess is Lolth and is a female goddess, that her clerics can only be female and they have the positions of power in society. So a female drow may have multiple lesser husbands. Got clothing and house insignia. So stuff detailed out of the Drizzt novels. Structures and settlements, going into the structures of their cities. Then we're on to their religions. So we've got Eilistraee, the lesser goddess, the goddess of good dark elves, which my ranger followed, and my ranger's the character that I've carried on his family. So I've played his daughter, and now I've been playing his grandson, who is a paladin of Eilistraee. Eilistraee's manifestations, duties of the priesthood. What else we got here? Different spells. Ghuanadar, the lesser god, god of jellies, oozes, slugs, and other crawling things. Nice god to follow. His manifestations. What else we got here? Lolth, so the spider queen. A cruel, capricious goddess, thought by many to be insane. We've got all the details about her, her priesthood, the equipment, their special spells, including Zinkala, which is one that is detailed in the Homeland series of books about Drizzt. We've got Vhaeraun, the god of thievery and a furthering of drow aims, interests, and power on the surface world. And again through that, then we're on to high history of the drow, from the Descent, the Dark Wars, the drow today. We've got drow spells, obviously many of them spider related. Nice artwork, I have to comment actually before I go on to the spells. That is a lovely picture of some dark elves fighting an Ithalid and some other drow wizards by the look of it. In the stalactite cities of the drow, because they build their cities into caverns, they build them into giant stalagmites and stalactites. So you can see the doors and windows where they've hollowed it out into a tower hanging from the cavern ceiling. Skyhook, Dark Wings, Hand of Darkness, Acid Bolt, Backlash. Lovely colour plate of, I think that's Homeland. I think that's the front of the Drizzt book, Homeland. Could be the second book, but other spells, so Pass Web, Summon Spider, Viper Gout, lots of spider related stuff, as I said. Death Spider. There's definitely a spidery motif in here. Spider Climb, Spider Eyes, Dark Fire. Continual Fairy Fire, because they light their cities using Continual Fairy Fire. Spell Web, Giant Spider. Control Vapor, Summon Spider. All the magic stuff I never really used because I wasn't playing a wizard. But there's some nice stuff in here. Spider Bite, Repulsion. Then we're on to Drow Magical Items. Now that's the cover of one of the other of the Homeland series of books, the sort of prequel series. Potion of Magic Resistance. Rings, Ring of Anti-Venom and Arachnid Control. Tentacle Rods. Various staves. I'll just flick through these because there's a lot. Bolts of Power, Walking Chest. Is that not just the luggage out of Terry Pratchett stuff? The House Insignia, where every house has a different magical effect, basically in their insignia that their warriors wear, so they get extra abilities from that. But Drow Craftwork, showing one with basically a replacement arm, a mechanical arm of some kind. You go through that. Artisans, really highlighting that arm on every page. Personal gems. The Drow language. So we've got various personal names, male given names, Drow surnames. Selected glossary of Deep Drow, so various words. Dark elven symbols, the Drow runes, sacred glyphs, and an illustration of various runes. The Spider and the Axe, War in the Depths, Suggestion for a long campaign. And then we're on to some monsters. So a deep bat, a deep dragon, myrlochar or soul spider, pedipape, whip scorpions, deep growth, which are mentioned in the novels as well. They're basically the cattle that are herded Underdark. Sulfugid, subterranean spider, spitting crawler, yochlol, the handmaidens of Lolth, denizens of the abyss, so demons. And then Down and Dirty and Waterdeep, ruins of the Undermountain, an advert on the back. That's Drow the Underdark. As I said, it's a very good book. There's lots of really nice stuff in here, especially if you were going to play a magic user Drow. The entire book would be pretty useful. If you're not playing a magic user, the book's somewhat less of use. But the big problematic thing is the magic resistance. My games master was way kind to me in letting me have that. He really shouldn't have. So problematic in play. We should have worked something out because the book is flawed in that way. But again, a lovely, lovely book. Fantastic stuff. But anyway, I've kept on whittering on for quite long enough. So thank you very, very much for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment below, as it does me massive favours with the YouTube algorithm. But please, keep your comments kind. Anyway, as always, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.